obviously we're excited to get back out here and play up at the up in Milwaukee against Marquette. I think Marquette's playing obviously their best basketball of the year. Obviously coming off a win at Villanova, which we all know how hard that is to do. Coach Smart's got them playing really well. He's got them playing with a ton of confidence. They're shooting the ball at an elite level right now from three. And that's not just one guy. Obviously, Greg Elliott's really playing well for them right now. Morcell's playing really well. Kolik's the guy who kind of is the straw that stirs the drink, so to speak, for them. He's one of the best ball screen passers in the entire country. So they present a lot of different challenges. Justin Lewis is obviously a tremendous player. He's an all-league player. He's a really, really, really hard cover and a tough matchup. So we're going to have our hands full on that end. And then on the other end, they're playing extremely hard. They're going to press you. They're going to go 1-2-2, three-quarter court press. They're going to go a little bit of full court diamond. So we got to do a great job of taking care of the ball. It's for our guys, obviously the second time that we played Marquette. So our guys have some familiarity with them, but I do think they're playing better now than they were a month ago when we played them. And, we got to go up there. We got to take care of the basketball, and then we got to be a heck of a lot better than we were in our last performance against DePaul.
If you got a question, please use the raise hand function. Adam?
Travis, you mentioned the way that Marquette's shooting it right now. What else have you noticed about this team that might look different or seem different from the first time that you played them? Because obviously, they look like a different team since the first meeting.
Yeah, I mean they're shooting the ball, like I said, at an elite level. I mean, I don't know if they're not really doing anything necessarily different, so to speak, as far as like their style, offensively, defensively. I think they're very similar in that regard. But you can tell it's amazing what confidence can do for individuals, right? They're playing with a lot of confidence. I think they lost 3 games in a row. I think their first 3 Big East games, I think they lost. And then they've won, I believe, 5 or so in a row here now. It's just amazing what can happen when you get a couple wins, you string a couple wins together. Guys start believing. And that's what he's done a great job with this culture up there. You could tell those guys are all the way bought in to their roles, and just they have great energy. They play really hard. They share the ball. They got a really good team, and I think they're very talented. I knew that going away from game 1. I was like, man, these dudes are talented. And you just saw the size and the length and the athleticism. And then, like I said, the shot-making abilities that they had. I was blown away with them in game 1 when we played them as well.
Adam?
You had a couple guys sick against DePaul. Deontay Miles didn't make the trip. You mentioned that Adam Kunkel's tried to play through it. Can you update us on those 2 guys, and have any other guys fallen ill here since then?
Yeah, Deontay should be able to go full go practice today. Same thing with Adam. I think they both had like stomach bug of some sort. Fremantle's got the stomach bug now, so he's out today. But I would hopefully if you look at kind of how it went through Deontay and with Adam, hopefully he'll recover pretty quick here. I would anticipate him playing at Marquette.
Adam?
One of the other things that we talked about following that DePaul game was the recent slow starts, 3 in a row, kind of put yourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit in the first half, the last 3 games. And you talked about looking at the data and looking at analytics and maybe reevaluating your lineups. And I'm curious, like, it seems like it's not as simple as, hey, let's put our best 5 on the floor to start the game. I know that you've said in the past that you have more than 5 starters. But what sorts of things are you looking at? Are you thinking about when it might come to making a starting lineup change and getting a different guy in there?
I think the where we're struggling right now, Adam, to be a little bit more specific, is that second war. It's not really the first one. So we break down each ward. We know how much we've either lost by or won by. I think we've lost 5 out of the last 6 second wars in the Big East play. And two of the wars were larger numbers, right? DePaul beat us 17-10 in the second war. I think Marquette beat us 12-4 in the second war of the game one back in December. So you start to look at it from that perspective. That's the war that kind of sticks out to me more so than maybe War One. And we got to get that fixed. And so you kind of look at, okay, well, are the substitution patterns been pretty consistent? And they have, to a degree. We may have to look to doing something a little bit different, especially in that war, because that's been the one that's kind of stuck out to me. And again, you can listen. We could change the starting lineup, and we might. Again, it's all about who earns it in practice. But again, I don't think that starting lineups the end all be all. It's about what we're running while certain lineups are in there as well. So it's not just specifically who's in the game. It's what ball screen coverage are we in, or what are we running offensively when those specific guys are in? Are they good matchups for those guys while they're in? Because that's just as important as if who's starting, right? It's like it's not as simple as that as what people make it out to be. I think it's a lot. You got to look deep. You dive a lot deeper than that.
Adam?
The first game against Marquette, we saw Dwan Odom really take over the game. In a lot of ways, he was probably the difference in that game. And going into round two with Marquette, I know that you've said many times that you guys don't change game to game. But do you sort of think about the fact that Marquette what they might do to try to take that area away, or say, you know what, you did this really well in the first game, we're not going to let you do that in the second game, and then you sort of have to adjust off that maybe? How do you think about that when you're seeing a team for the second time?
Yeah, you definitely always go back. That's the first game film I always watch, right, is what did we do well? What did they do well? Where did they hurt us? And obviously, DeJuan played terrific in game one, like you said, Adam. I thought he gave us the energy in that first half, because we were struggling a little bit, and then all of a sudden DeJuan made a couple big time plays in transition, got right to the rim, big time steal and dunk. And I thought really changed the game, and he did that the rest of the game as well. I thought he got wherever he wanted on the offensive end, and then defensively he dominated the ball, was able to be tough on the ball and get over all those ball screens that they set. So I do anticipate them, potentially doing something different, especially with a guy like DeJuan. And so it is a game, a little bit of chess, right? It's like we are who we are. Marquette is who they are. They're not going to wholesale change game to game. We're not going to wholesale change game to game. But there are going to be adjustments obviously made by them and by us going into game two from what we saw in game one, and then obviously of what both of us have added to our systems over the last month, say. So there will be obviously adjustments made. So you try to look out and say, hey, this is what they could do. If they do this, this is what we're going to do. This is how we'll attack that. And it's a constant, it goes back and forth, honestly, the whole game. Coach Smart's a great coach. We have a lot of respect for him.
And, I know that the past is the past, but in recent years, this particular road trip to Fiserv has not really been kind to the Xavier Musketeers. Do you talk to your guys about the fact that this trip has not gone well in the past, and maybe, sort of refresh their memories a little bit about what needs to change or what needs to go different this time around?
Not necessarily, Adam. I think we treat every road game the same. We know what it takes to win on the road. You got to be the tougher team. You got to be the more together team for 40 minutes. And you can't get too high or too low, right? That they're going to go on their runs. They're going to have a great crowd. Sure, the crowd will get behind them at certain points in the game. But it's about just gonna honestly just staying very even keeled the entire time. And if we take care of the ball and we battle on the glass, we'll have a shot to win the game. But yeah, we don't. Again, we have struggled the last few years at Fiserv, man. Again, you think about the games, but again, it is what it is. Listen, it's a whole new team, new Marquette team, new Xavier team than previous years. So we just got to take advantage of the opportunity that we have in front of ourselves.